Why this show?
What's not to love? I'm a huge fan of zombies. I am a comic book geek from way back, and I love making drama. What was wonderful here is the opportunity to do that, but have hours and hours of program as opposed to trying to tell the whole story in 2 hours.
Now, in terms of story, you get to tell more story, but then there's also you have to tell more story. What are the challenges of doing this?
Well, you know what, when you think about it, I mean, we're really lucky. I mean, Robert Kirkman's already said to us, I have at least 250 issues in mind.
Right.
So, you know, it's not as if,
okay,
we don't have to make it all up. What we have the opportunity to do with his blessing is to detour off that path and explore things that aren't necessarily in the comic book, so you don't feel, if you are a fan of the comic book, is you know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and to whom it's going to happen. So that's the wonderful opportunity of being in partnership with someone like Robert.
So Rick,
and with Frank Darabont, who's as much of a geek as I am.
So Rick might get to keep his hand, which would be easier on the actor?
We'll see. You know, it's nice to have. It's nice to.
Can you talk about
you go ahead.
Balancing practical effects versus...
You know what? Frank and I both feel very, very deeply that if you can get something in camera on the day with the cast, and they're not acting to a green screen, that's the best possible scenario. Now, what we can't do is destroy Atlanta. You know, we asked.
Right.
You know, and they did let us close down a lot of literally downtown Atlanta, the whole sequence with the tank at the end.
Right.
But you know, if you look at our one sheet, they didn't let us destroy Atlanta and fill the freeways with cars. So there's a time and a place for visual effects, and it's meant to enhance what we already have and not to replace it. I think the great thing is that Robert Kirkman's comic book has a terrific fan base all around the world, and you know they've let us know that you know they're watching us, and we better not screw it up. And that's really important to us, that fans realize that we take it very seriously. We honor and respect the material, but we also want to make sure that it is opened up beyond that. And the way to open it up, and it's already there in spades, is through characters and through the drama. And so the characters are very relatable. And we're able, as I said, to also expand that universe and bring in characters that didn't initially exist in Robert Kirkman's.
Now, sometimes the fans of the comics have actually complained about the cast having grown too large, where he has to keep something in the back for people to even keep it straight. With television, is this going to be an issue?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, have you seen the first 2 episodes or not yet? I think you'll find that it's really not difficult at all keeping everybody straight. If you can follow Lost, I really don't think you're going to have any trouble following The Walking Dead. Our cast isn't as big as Lost, and you know, we don't jump back and forth in time. But there are a lot of secrets, and that's another thing that I think is very interesting with AMC. If you look at the programming that they've got, you know, there's secrets. You know, Breaking Bad, you know, the chemistry professor, you know, the chemistry teacher and father, who's also a drug dealer on the side, and you know, and Don Draper, mysterious character on Mad Men, and of course Rubicon.
Right.
So I think it's the perfect network as well. It is a basic tenet of the series is it's about, you know, zombies, and zombies want to kill and eat people. Now, if you don't show zombies killing and eating people, and you don't show people killing zombies, well, you might as well just not make the show. And from the very beginning, when AMC approached us, they said, we do not want you to hold back, and we'd like you to look at some of the classic genre films that we air during Fear Fest, which is the block of programming leading up to Halloween, which is when they showed classic horror and genre films. And we were blown away by what what their network finds acceptable. And we also felt comfort because we're big fans of Breaking Bad, and there's some pretty graphic violence in Breaking Bad. That's nothing compared to The Walking Dead. I have to say what I find most remarkable about this is what people may not expect, which is how emotional it is, how connected you are to the characters, and what they're experiencing, and especially when they're experiencing loss. I get teary-eyed, and you wouldn't think a show which is essentially is about human survival after a zombie apocalypse that you'd be a little misty-eyed. But I think that's a tribute to Robert's underlying material, Frank's terrific writing and directing, and the amazing cast.
Now, how early in the process of putting the show together was it clear that AMC would be the home for this? Were they always in partnership? Or?
Well, when I initially talked with Frank, and then we went to Robert Kirkman and talked with him, I'd already run the idea past AMC, and remarkably, they were familiar with the comic series. Honestly, it's not like I had to introduce them to it. And not only that, but because of Fear Fest, they're already the executives at AMC are already really they have a great experience in the genre. So it was, you wouldn't think of that if you're just looking at AMC for their original series, but if you look at their overall programming, it's also one of their most successful and most highly rated blocks of programming. So it wasn't like we had to twist their arms. They understood that this was not only great timing, but one of the greatest sources of hopefully years and years and years of zombie storytelling.